Hello everybody, how are you? My name is Brittany McLean. I am a celebrity pro makeup artist and my love language just happens to be skin and makeup. And I am here for you every Tuesday for Just the Tip Tuesday. And this is something I've been doing for the last little over a month. And I've gotten a lot of really great responses. So I decided to pull it on over here to YouTube. I'm still very amateur, but I feel like it's been so watered down that it makes it difficult for me to be able to give anybody the full teaching experience that I feel like I need to give them. And so I figured this way, it's a little easier for everybody to learn. I will list products below that I'm using and bear with me. Here's the thing, to be honest with you, one wrong move and everything will come crashing down. And as soon as it does, it'll film it. And if it does, then we'll get to experience it together.
Thanks to you. This could be the biggest scandal since we installed the church wheelchair ramp backwards.
So it's a little questionable. My eye is watering. I guess my allergies in Texas right now, it's like my one eye is just like help. I've done a little bit of a wash of color on my face just because I didn't want to take anything. I didn't want to do a bunch of eye makeup and then take away from the brow experience for that, but we're here. There's a lot of different ways to accomplish a great brow depending on what you're dealing with. It depends on the amount of hair you have, for sure. Now, I don't want to like limit and put in a box certain brows with certain products because I feel like with makeup anything is possible. But I do want to kind of go over the hardest brows are going to be the ones that don't have hair on their brow. That's going to be the hardest one because you kind of have to figure out what your shape is. I'll kind of show you how I brow map. I have a trained eye at this point. I can kind of see by looking at someone's brows, but I don't draw like lines on their face or anything. All right, the star of the shows today for brows is going to be our beautiful, lovely, fantastic, just a beautiful palette, Groundwork palette by Dennis & Merrick's. Beautiful, beautiful palette. It's got different shades in here. This is great for artists. If you're somebody who, you know, works with multiple skin tones like I do, this is going to be an amazing product to have. She's made this to work as a double product, so you could literally use this for face, eyes, lips, everything. It's a great product. It's a multi-product, and we love something that does more than one thing.
Ooh, this is nice!
The other products that I'm going to be showing you today is going to be the Anastasia Beverly Hills, because what kind of brow video would this be if we didn't showcase Anastasia, right? The Brow Freeze, and then this is the Brow Pomade in Chocolate. This one may or may not necessarily be my shade, but I had brown hair at one point, and this is something that I ended up throwing in my kit because I didn't wear it as much anymore. Pomades became kind of obsolete whenever thin brow pencils and things just kind of like started resurfacing again. So I have her, but we're gonna showcase her. And then I also have, now normally I would use Spiked Brow Pencil by MAC. Spiked Brow Pencil by MAC was like my holy grail for brows when I first really started getting into doing brows. And I worked at MAC for about a total of 6 years, probably 7 years. In total, I kind of broke up my journey, but in total. And so Spiked Brow Pencil was like my jam. But these days I've kind of leaned more towards a more affordable product for myself, and that is the e.l.f. Cosmetics. e.l.f. has got some amazing brow stuff. If you haven't tried e.l.f., you're missing out. It's budget friendly, it's amazing, it's easy to use. This guy right here is gonna be their rendition of the Brow Freeze. This is the brow gel, and it's clear, so you can see in the back it's clear. This is also gonna be a Shape and Stay Brow Pencil. So this is actually clear as well, and you can see nothing's going on my hand. It's completely clear, but it's a little tacky. It allows you to keep the hairs down and groomed so that you can actually set your brow, which I love. And then their brow pencil, this one I believe is in neutral brown. So we'll have that one. It's a precise brow pencil, kind of like Spiked was, right? Spiked is still around, it's still there. But this one is great. It's a precision pencil. I much prefer this for my brows, and this is normally what I would grab if I was doing my brows would be these two products. So I don't even really go for this one as much anymore. I mean, you can for a little extra hold, but I don't. These two are perfectly fine for me. All right, let's get started with brows. I'm going to do my normal day-to-day brow on this side. This side's going to be the side that's going to have the different mediums. I'm going to do the Anastasia on this side. I'm going to do the brow pomade on this side, just so you can see how they all are different and how they all wear a little differently. I already have a natural brow. They're sparse. They're not full. I have a brow. It's there. And they're sisters, not twins. Sue me. I mean, literally, like, this one's a little thinner, a little finer than this one is. They've always kind of grown that way, and I refuse to cut this one down to match this one. I'd rather fill this one in more. So I figured I would just take control of my more complicated brow. This one's got a little more shape. It's a little more friendly for you to see. So we're going to do that. I'm using e.l.f. on this side because that's my go-to product. And I'm going to comb my hairs backwards with the brow gel in my spoolie. Like so. I'm going to cover every single hair by doing that. And I brush everything up at first, just so I can really see what I'm working with. It helps if your brows are already groomed. This just really does hold the brow down. It makes her accountable, you know? You can kind of see what the brow gel does, right? It kind of gives it shape. It gives it a little bit of something. And then what I'm going to do, instead of all of them going up, all I'm going to do is take my spoolie on the side and I'm going to gently just kind of pull the brow hairs to where they're uniform, like that. All right. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll do the brow gel, let it set, and then I'll do my eyes, and then I'll come back around and I'll do the brows second. I'm going to do a little bit of the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Freeze on this side, just so you can see, doing the same thing, working it backwards and then working it this way. And that's really just so you can see. Do you hear the cicadas? Oh my goodness. It's only like, I think 11 in the morning. Okay. So we have brow gel on both brows. And then I'm just going to gently comb this one to the side and down with that brow gel. So there's some shape to it, okay? There we go. And what I'm gonna do now is I am going to get just a little bit of powder, like nothing crazy, no crazy amount of powder. I'm using the Laura Mercier translucent powder. That's my go-to powder. I'm using her on a little powder puff. And all I'm gonna do is just gently set my brow with a little bit of powder. This helps it to be tacky, but not sticky. And that's kind of what we want, right? And it kind of mutes down our natural brow a little bit, because what this does is it gives us a little more room to be forgiving, right? Like if we make a mistake, we can see it clearly, we can go in, we can adjust it, we can fix it. And I'm gonna show you what happens if you make a mistake. It's not forever, it's makeup, it comes off, and that's the thing to remember. At the end of the day, it's just makeup. You have to play in order to like figure out what works for you. So just keep that in mind, okay? And I'm gonna take my pencil, and the way I normally like to start, now if you were gonna map your brows, say for instance, you don't have a brow, so we'll pretend like there's no brow here. The way you'd wanna start your brow is you'd start at your nostril, and you'd go up like this, and this would be about where your brow would start. Now, everybody's different. I've seen different techniques. Some people go through the pupil and some people go through the outside of the iris. Everyone's different. My brow, you can see naturally, my brow is here, my brow bone is here. And so I am going to do the iris because that's where mine sits, and it's going to go this direction. And you can see that's where my arch is. And then you take your pencil to your nostril and you go outward. And where the crease of my eye is and out is where that should fall. Doing that here. And so that's where you're gonna have your brow mapping. Usually is where everything will fall. Now, I highly recommend going to a Benefit Brow Bar or an Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Bar. They take care of their ladies so well. I know several girls that have worked there, and they are amazing at what they do. They are professionals. They know how to wax. They know how to take care of your brow and shape it. So if you get a chance, and if you're in Dallas, go see my friend Jess at Nordstrom. She works at Anastasia Beverly Hills, like does all the waxing and stuff. She's amazing. You got to go see her. She's wonderful. And she does a great job with mapping everything. And then I also have a friend, Jasmine, who does brows as well, and she used to work for Benefit, and now I think she's a freelancer. I think she's pretty much working on her own, doing her own thing, but she's amazing as well. All right, let's get down to business, right? Brows. So the way I normally like to start is I work in flicking motions, kind of like this with my brow pencil, just lightly, and you can build it up. The hardest part is taking it away, but it's not super difficult. But this is a neutral brown, and I'm just going in and I'm shading. You can see that like right in here, I'm missing a little bit of hair. I'm like trying to let them grow, but they just don't. So I'm gonna connect this here a little bit more, because here you can see it's a line and then it drops. This is a line up and then it drops. I don't want that. I wanna kind of cover that up a little bit. So you'll kind of see me going in right here gently. That's why I love how natural the pencils are, because I just feel like you can do that and it's not super noticeable that you've done it, you know? I love that. Okay, so you can see I've kind of made the connection. And again, just gently filling it in. Nothing too crazy, nothing too hard. Now, I can see where the top of my brows are, and it's a little bit of a straight line, but I'm also missing just a little bit of my arch. So I'm gonna go through and I'm just gonna connect. It's like connecting the dots or connecting the hairs. And I'm going in here, going in where my arch would start, which is like right in here. And if I turn my head, you can see where the drop down is. So I'm taking that and I'm going downwards in light stroking motions. And I'm not raising my eyebrows while I'm doing it. Don't do that. That's gonna throw you all off. If you raise your brow, if you're making expressions, you don't wanna do that. So try to be aware of that. A lot of people do it and don't realize they do. Keep your brows and your forehead relaxed while you're doing this. And you're just gonna go in. So if you already have brow hair and you just kind of you have sparseness like I do, and you just want something that's natural, I highly recommend a pencil. Because I feel like you're gonna get a really natural finish that looks like hair strokes. Now, normally when I get to the beginning of my brow, I have a little bit of a line here, and I wanna keep the line, but I don't want it to be harsh. So I'm gonna go in and just kind of like turn my pencil to my side, to its side, and kind of etch the line there. And then taking it and I'm gonna flick it up. Kind of like that. Now, it's your choice on how far you wanna go with the brow strokes, how tall, how whatever. I like to do it like this, and then I like to go back in and kind of clean it up when I'm done. And I'll kind of show you how I clean it up and how I brush it through. See, I already made a mistake. I got a little dot right there and I pushed it up and I smeared it. So that's fine. That's perfect. I'll show you how to get rid of it. All right, so now that I have, like, for the most part, I got most of my brow filled in here. You can take your brooch. You can take your brooch. It's like brooch, but not. Brooch. You can take your brow arch, and you can go a little higher if you like it, a little higher. I kind of like mine just a smidge higher, just to match this guy. And then what I'm gonna do, that same spoolie with the brow gel, I am going to take it and I'm going to gently take it up and down this way, and I'm gonna brush upwards. What this does is it softens the pigment of the brow pencil. Then I'm turning it on its side, and I'm brushing upwards like this, gently. You want to apply a little pressure, but not a lot, because if you apply too much, it's going to take a lot of it off. And we really just want a nice, like, gentle comb through. We don't want to get rid of the work we did. But if you do, you can go back in with your pencil and gently fill it in again. And you can do that until you're completely satisfied with it. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of concealer. And if you use a cream concealer, it's a lot easier because you're not having to, like, fight so hard to, like, fight time. Liquids dry fast, I feel like. Whereas with the cream concealers, it's a little more forgiving. You can kind of move it around a little bit before it dries in place. And I'm just gonna take a really thin brush, super thin. And what I like to do is sometimes if I make a mistake or if I feel like it's too thick or whatever, I'm gonna go in and I'm just gonna shape it up. And this is like a magic eraser. So I really love this technique. This is one of the things I learned working at MAC, because at the time, chiseled brows were just a really big thing. They were in. They were in for sure. And everyone was all about a concealer brow. Here's the thing. This is a great method. I mean, it's a great method for anything, even eyeliner. Like if you're using eyeliner and you're going up with it and it's like a little bumpy, you can literally just take it and you see how you get like a crisp line. You can do the same thing with eyeliner. Like it's a great tool for people who are beginning, or even just, you know, people who just like a cleaned up look. And then you can just take a small like smudge brush and just gently buff out that line. Kind of like that. All right. So now that that's done, and just making sure, and I have like a little hair. I have a little hair right here that's just like driving me crazy. Let's pretend like it's not there. Okay, pretend like that little hair is just not there. I don't know how okay, there we go. That works. So then on the very top, you do the same thing with the top part. All you're gonna do is go in. I like to go in from the top. I feel like I can see a little bit better. And just tracing where the top of my brow naturally is. I go straight across, I turn my head, and I'm gonna go down. Like that. That's how my brows naturally are shaped, so I just go with that. I feel like it's a lot easier. I feel like it's a lot, I don't know. It's just natural. Now, because we don't want harsh lines, I'm going in with that little bit of concealer and I'm gonna gently just dot along that line. Just a little bit. And it's gonna blur that hard line. I want the hard line a little bit more down here, so I'm fine with that. And then comes the question of, do you like your brows square shaped or do you like them rounded? Most days I'll take what I can get. For this one, let's go square. I'll do rounded on this side so you can kind of see, but if you want a square brow, you kind of just take it down like this. And when you do that, it gives you that square shape. Going in and buffing this part. And then the finished product is me putting a little bit of powder over the brow again. Now, all that's gonna do, just a little bit, like whatever's residual on your powder puff is fine. I'm going in and I'm just gently going to press it. And that's how I would normally do my brow. I do like a softer brow in the very front. I do like it to be a little bit more muted there in the front. And that's how I would normally do my brows, okay? So you can see I have a naturally big brow as it is, but I want something there. It looks a lot better when there's makeup on and there's the whole kit and caboodle. This looks very bold, but it's really not. And honestly, this is probably the more natural brow that I probably could do on myself. So we're on the other side, we're gonna go ahead and do the Anastasia Beverly Hills brow pomade. This one takes a different tool. You have to have a brush for it. Okay, I'm taking the Anastasia Beverly Hills brow pomade in chocolate. I scooped some out at the end of my brush and I kind of put it on my hand just to kind of like warm it up a little bit. I just want it to be a little bit more like movable. Sometimes those pomades can dry out. Fun fact though, if it does dry out, take a couple of eye drops and just put them in there and it rehydrates it. You could also even put Duraline in there, and Duraline will also help take care of any kind of dry products you have that are like a pomade or even like a mascara. If your mascara dried out, a couple of drops of Duraline and it brings it right back to life. It's beautiful. So for the pomade brow, I'm going to do it kind of similar to my other brow, the way I start, but because I have more of a natural shape, I'm going to go in and I am going to go ahead and fill it in. Now you can already tell it's a lot thicker of a product. And that's why I like this one back in, I don't know, 2014, 2015. Everybody was really into the brow pomade. People are still into it. It's just, you know, you gotta be careful because this is like a gas pedal and a brake pedal. You push too hard, you're gonna get a lot more coverage. You push less, you're gonna get less. So I tend to go less towards the beginning of my brow. And then I go up. So I kind of start just kind of like filling in a little bit here. And because I already have a shape, I'm gonna just kind of like cookie cutter it. And I'm going to just like go in and map out my shape with the pomade and the brush. And fill it in, keeping the brush on its side up until I get to this point. Now, the beginning of my brow is going to be a little bit more light strokes. It's pushing that brake pedal a little bit. So with the front of my brow, I'm going to go in and I'm going to do flicking motions up. All right. You can see, compared to my other brow, this is a little bit more of a bolder brow look. I don't tend to reach for the pomades as much anymore. Anastasia, though, in her palette has wax. It's a different base. So it's a little more forgiving, a little more, we've moved away from the pomades, I think. I'm not sure. I feel like we have, but you know, I could be wrong. I've moved away from the pomades, I should say. Can't speak for everybody. All right, so this by itself could be fine. I mean, literally this by itself, this brow is always a little easier for me because it's already got a shape. Now, if we like the way this looks, we could keep it. This has a little bit more of a redder undertone to it, so it doesn't really go with my hair. I like a softer brow personally, so I would tend to gravitate towards this one. But tell me what you think. Do you like this pomade brow? Do you like this pencil brow? Which one do you like better? But you know, I'm gonna do the same technique that I did with my other one. I'm gonna grab my spoolie. I'm going to brush through it a little bit here, just to soften that line. Now, when you do this, it does give it a similar finish like my other brow. You could do a little powder. It doesn't look bad. It's just, I don't know, pomades, I like a pencil. I don't need a brush. All right, for this first set, e.l.f. brow pencil or the Anastasia Beverly Hills chocolate pomade. Which one do you like better? I forget our natural girlies. I don't even know. I'm so sorry.
The audacity!
I'm so sorry. For you naturally girlies who just have a full brow already and you just need a little something to help groom it and maybe give you a little color, there are these. Can't believe I forgot these. Empathetically Blonde, made by MAC. This is a brow gel that has a built-in color to it. Now, this one's old, okay? This one's expired. I'm not gonna use her. Again, I love the Anastasia because I can do different things with it. So I have different mediums for brows. Even for a natural girly, I can go in with a little bit of powder and just kind of like gently fill in. So for me, that's what I would normally opt to do. But this is a waterproof, long-wearing brow gel. And it's almost like a mascara. So you can kind of see the little spoolie here. Pull it back a little bit. There we go. So this is certainly an option for anyone who's got a naturally bushy brow and they love their brows. They just need a little something in it. This is great for that. But I held on to this for no reason at all. I literally still have this, and they've changed the packaging. Like this is expired. We're not using her, but it's a great option for anyone who has natural brow. There, I've said it. Okay, I wiped off the other brow that I had on, my pomade brow from this side, and I'm gonna do a powder brow. So the powder brow is a lot softer. Here's where things evolved for me. When back in like, I don't even know, 2012, I was doing my brows for the first time and started filling them in. They were really thin and they were way over waxed. We never learned from our previous generation's 90s mistakes, right? We just kept it going. 2016, we started embracing full brows, I think. And so back in 2012, I will show you the picture. Not a fan of that. It was almost like having caterpillars on your forehead. It was bad. And no one told me. I was starting out doing makeup in like 2010. So I was like not sure about the shades and the colors, and I was an amateur, and we learn and we grow as we evolve. All right, I'm going in with another fine tip brush like this. And for the Danessa Myricks palette, I'm going to opt for probably, for myself, normally I would want to gravitate towards a black, but I know that's going to be a little harsh and I don't want to just go in with that one. So I'm going to start with the second darkest shade, which I'm thinking is going to be, that has way more red undertones. Let's do this one. This is the powder here. This is the wax. The wax is really not, the wax is more used, again, like a lip pencil or eyeliner. You can use it for those kinds of things. You could use it for brows too, but I am going to just use the powder because that's what I'm here to show you, okay? So I'm gonna take a little bit of the powder there and brush it this way. And doing the same thing, starting kind of like halfway in my brow and just pushing the product in this way. And the thing with the powder is it's almost like really like a blurred, it's meant to be a pinch of color, kind of a blurred look. And here's the thing, back in like 2012, I never cleaned up my brows. So it literally looked like woolly worms on my forehead. I'm just so mad. Like none of my friends ever said anything. I don't know, maybe they just thought that was cool. Maybe we thought that was the thing. I don't know. Have you guys seen the Olympics? What was that lady's name that did the breakdancing? Everybody's talking about it. We have to talk about it really quick. Was it B-Ray B-Guns, or was it Miss Gunn is her name? X-Ray Guns? No. I don't know. Anyway, ma'am. I told my husband whenever I first saw it, I was like, she's gotta be like a 30-something-year-old mom that just like showed up. Like is she filling in for somebody? Like I'm not even sure what's happening. Like how did she get this gig? Like I'm over here thinking I'm like killing myself making videos and like finding time for things, and like Dance McGee over there, super unqualified. Super unqualified to be dancing like that. And I'm thinking to myself, so you're saying there's a chance? Could I do the Olympics? I can't dance for shit. Don't get me caught up in the Olympics, man. Listen, I would let the entire country down. I can only let down a couple of people at a time now. Can't really do the whole Olympic thing. Like, that's wild. They just be letting anybody into the Olympics. All right, I'm looking at both my brows. You can see, again, not a bad brow, just not one that I'm gonna gravitate towards. You could do the same thing again. You could go in, you could clean it up. This is gonna be more of a rounded brow. I'm just gonna show you the shape. Again, not bad, just not my Jimmy Jam. All right, cleaned up that brow. Again, not bad. It's got a little warmth to it. Maybe that's what I need, but I really, like, again, I don't know. I've been feeling these like ashier, just softer, barely there brow. I don't know why. Going in with a little bit of powder, because I'm showing you the full experience. You could mute it down if you want, just a little bit, and tame it. This is fine. Like, this works. Totally works. You could do whatever. I don't care. I don't care how you do your brows. I'm just here to show you the methods and the finishes and things like that. You can do whatever you want. You can even just wear a natural brow and not stress out about brows and not listen to me at all. I don't, it's fine. But I do feel like there's a brow for everybody, even the ones who have no brow. I have shown you on this side where you can fill in gaps, you can do things like that. But if I ever had a model that didn't have brows, I would totally be willing to put brows on that person. So if you're in the Dallas area and you have 0 brows, I'm talking like none, I would love like show people how to do the brow. Now, again, brows are sisters, not twins. It doesn't matter if they look the same. You just don't want them so completely different that they look obviously different. Now, a way you can do that is relax your forehead. You take a pen or pencil or a brush. Let's go to the brow here and let's lay it flat. Yeah. Yeah. They are literally even Steven. Everyone's different. Be gentle with yourself. If you don't get it the first time, you'll be just fine. Practice makes perfect. That's why I'm here for you every Tuesday for Just the Tip Tuesday. And let me know in the comments below what you want to learn next. Just tell me the things, like tell me what you struggle with. Tell me what you feel like you want to learn. Tell me, listen, I'm an open book. And I'm somebody who enjoys like showing people things. Sometimes it's easier to sit home and play in your own makeup and like get the full experience for just yourself. And that way you don't feel intimidated. That way you don't feel like you're missing out on anything. And I'm happy to recommend products for you the best I can. All I can really recommend is what I know I've used, but as an artist, I've had my hands in every brand almost. So let me know if there's something that you'd like to try. Let me know if there's a product I need to grab. Like, just tell me whatever. I'm here for you, okay? Have a wonderful day. I will see you next Tuesday. Bye.